Heartbreak. Heartbreak is really the only word I could say. Welcome back to another Argentine football video, and just Mexico just fell in such a heartbreaking way to England. Big ups to England, not letting the Azteca face you guys as much as we all thought it would. You got England. The English players did look pretty gassed there at certain points in the game, and even towards the end. Man, it sucks to see this result. I really did believe Mexico did it. They got our hopes up again, and ended up going out in the same round as expected, but I can't fault too many of them. Yeah, two of the three goals in my eyes were big mistakes from the Mexican players. Like the second goal, Morita, very terrible way to lose the ball right after you guys just got scored on, and then England pushes on that counter after regaining possession right then, and they score the 2-0 up. And then on the third goal, Edson, what the hell, man? Put your head up, do something else, just show some more grit in that ball. You were just too soft right there in that moment. You put your head down, ball rebounds off to Anthony Gordon, who goes off one-on-ones against Tala. Tala comes out. Unfortunate for Tala to concede that penalty, but he had to come out. There wasn't much more he could have done. He did what he had to do right there. And this was the game. This was the moment that they were supposed to make things happen, but I truly do believe Vasco kind of lost his game with the tactics that he played towards the end with the substitutions. Big one, one thing I do want to give my respect and credit to England. I don't want to seem like I'm underappreciating their game. A lot of them really were no-shows for them, but the ones that I knew were going to be a factor were the factors. Harry Kane, he's a star. You just can't stop him. Yeah, his goal came through penalty, but he just makes so much happen that he puts so much attention on him that he gives other players the freedom to roam. Bellingham, what a hell of a player this guy is. Jude just dominated midfield. He was going on offense. He was coming back on defense. He was doing it all. And right after Mexico scores their first goal towards the end of the first half, the ball comes to Cesar Montes, who there looked to be the opportunity to equalize right before half. Jude does just enough to clear that ball away from him and prevent Mexico from equalizing the game in that moment. But only real standouts for the England squad was Kane, Bellingham. Gordon was dominant on that left wing, so props to him. And Pickford. Pickford kept this team in for as much as they did. Everyone else left a lot to be desired. Kwanzaa, terrible way to go to put your team a man down in that situation of the game. Very, very noobish mistake to enter studs up like that. Yeah, you could say that his foot rebounded off the ball. That's why it was elevated that way. There's no reason why you should even be going studs up like that. As far as the Mexico players go, props to all of you guys. Round of applause for the performance you guys have shown in the World Cup. Jimenez, Piojo Alvarado, Johan Vázquez, Tala Rangel, Eric Lira, Julian Quiñones. I don't know if I mentioned him or not already, but you guys were the main focus of this team. You guys made the nation proud, as well as for everyone else that contributed their part. Jorge Sanchez got dominated today, so not his best performance. Edson Alvarez, I'm an America fan. I love him. I am going to be honest, after that mistake and how poor he was today, that's enough for me to not get called up against the national team. Obviously, we all know that that's not how these things go. The vacas sagradas for Mexico are a common thing, so we know we're going to keep seeing a lot of players that don't deserve to be there anymore. But I do believe the cycle should end for a lot of players. Gallardo has, he's performed at all the World Cups he's been to, but I truly think it's time to give that left back role to Mateo Chavez, who's a great upcoming left back. In the right back position, we were unfortunate to be stuck with Jorge Sanchez. I do think Israel Reyes would have made a better job right there, but hoping Huescas can recover from that injury and take over that right side. Cesar Montes, I'm really sorry that he got injured. I truly believe that if he doesn't get injured, we don't concede that penalty the way that they do. I feel secure with goal in Tala Rangel. I do see him being very promising. For the longest time, I was so pro Malagon being the keeper for the future, but I just think Malagon lost any future possibilities to Tala. As long as Tala can maintain himself and doesn't get injured, Tala will be the starting keeper until the next World Cup, if all things go as I mentioned. But Mexico falls. First goal, consequences of Gordon just being dominant through that left wing, getting the ball over. Great Jude Bellingham header to break the deadlock for the game. A point of the game where Mexico was dominant. Mexico was the better team in the first half. They showed it. Even if you looked at those momentum things that they kept bringing up, all the momentum throughout the whole game was basically on Mexico's side. So that's why it hurts more to see this loss. The second goal comes through a mistake from Mora. Third goal, again, another mistake from Edson and conceding, putting his head down the way that he did to let them get into the box and get that penalty. unfortunate to go out this way, and unfortunate to concede another loss at the Azteca, the third official loss in Azteca history for Mexico. And I really would have wished this World Cup run and momentum could have kept going, but it wasn't meant to be. Big round of applause for the British players for getting the job done, though. I don't know if I see you guys getting past Norway the way Holland is playing. Like I said, Holland is the type of player to win you games and proceed just all on his own. Look at what he just did to Brazil. A brace from him to get him over the hump right there to put him into the quarterfinals. But you guys have a tough position right there and going up against Holland in the next round. Mexico, as much as I'm upset with a few of the players over the way their performance, I can't be too mad. You guys gave it your all, even at the end. Even with the players that shouldn't have been there, like Memo, they shouldn't have come on. I love Fidalgo, but for the situation of the game where you need crosses, he's not the type of player that you bring on for that. Brian Gutierrez, it just seemed like the World Cup was too big for him. The way he just kept looking nervous, I did not really like seeing him come on, even though he did get the penalty. But I would have loved to see more of La Hormiga Gonzalez in this World Cup. He was the main Mexican goal scorer at club level. Like, there was no player more informed than him. We bring on Santi and Memote. I love Santi. I'm not really a big fan of Memote, but I love Santi. But there's no way in hell Santi should have been playing today. With the stakes that high, you bring on your most informed striker, and that should have been La Hormiga Gonzalez. But again, I'm proud of what they did. I'm hoping that the young core of this team, the ones that are still on the younger side, we can see them progress and get better for the next World Cup cycle. And let's hope that what we've seen in previous years don't happen now, or the egos get too inflated. They think they're too much better than the rest of them. Then we have all these controversies coming out constantly, the parties, whatever it is, whatever that tends to happen around the World Cup cycles. We all know Mexico and off the field, like things always come up that just ruin it and ruin any momentum going forward. But let's keep our head up. Let's wish that this generation can be different than the previous ones. A lot of these players are going to have to make that big jump to Europe. Johan Vasquez, by far the best Mexican defender around. He's probably the best one since Rafa Marquez. And I'm just upset that he doesn't get talked about more. Yeah, he gets his praise, but I feel like other players are more shine than him when Johan is truly the best Mexican defender that has been around since probably Rafa Marquez. Definitely the best left-footed center back that we have. Better than Hector Moreno. Hector Moreno was great, but I do believe Johan is better. Johan needs to be at a bigger club. Eric Lira needs to make the move to a big maybe not a big European club, but definitely someone that fights either mid-table or like the last positions of Europe. Piojo Alvarado, I don't want to see you go back to Chivas. I don't want to go back to bashing on you. Please make the move to Europe. I want to see you shine at a team that deserves you more. Fortunately, I do think Raul Jimenez, this was his last World Cup. I don't see him retiring from the national team yet, knowing the type of player he is. He's going to want to keep playing until he breaks Chicharito's all-time goal-scoring record, and then we'll probably see him call it with the national team. But Morita, he's going to make the move to Europe. Let's just see where all these players end up. I have hope and optimism, something I probably shouldn't have considering it's Mexico, but I do have hope and optimism for the future. It's been a week of heartbreak. This just added it even more. This just added fuel more to the heartbreak this week. Man, what a sad week, man. And that's going to do it for this one. If you did enjoy it and you are enjoying the content so far, I would really appreciate it if you could like and subscribe, as it does mean a lot to the channel. Hopefully I get to catch you again soon on the next one.